Pop quiz. What film won the Academy Award for Best Picture this year? That's right, nobody knows and there's no way to find out. But I can tell you what movie's gonna win next year, and this frame-by-frame analysis will explain exactly why. Here are 87 Easter eggs you probably missed in the Super Mario Bros. Teaser trailer. This opening shot, which is nothing short of breathtaking, shows a glimmering icy kingdom. Doesn't look too dissimilar from the Cinderella castle at the opening of all Disney films, right? I think this was intentional because Nintendo and Illumination are teaming up to destroy Disney, and this is the movie that will do it. And what happens next further cements my theory. Boom, a fireball descending from the sky, destroying the landscape. This is what we call satire. Illumination is stepping in saying, hey Disney, you're no longer the big dogs in town. And in case that was too subtle, they do it again and again. And what happens next will shock you. Pillars of flame and hellfire sweep through the majestic icy landscape, which might mean this movie's getting an R rating, because this is pretty spooky. Illumination and Nintendo are just decimating everything we know and love about the typical Disney fairy tale. But this next shot gave me chills and tears. Unless you live under a rock, then you know that this is the caricature of Bowser, the King Koopa, and he has never looked more intimidating. We haven't even seen the Bowser in this movie yet, and I already have the goosebumps. Here we have a more head-on shot of the icy kingdom, and the curved architecture juxtaposes beautifully with the jagged, sharp edges of Bowser's fleet. And of course we have the classic cinematic blue versus orange, something that certainly isn't overdone. Uh-oh, but now it's mace time. Yes, this is a medieval weapon called a mace, I want to say. And the fact that they're including this in a children's movie, it's going to be at least PG-13, maybe NC-17. The mace crashes into the icy tundra below, destroying everything in its path. And here's another beautifully framed shot. Every frame is a painting here. Once again, we have that classic orange v blue. And please keep in mind, everyone, we're 20 seconds into a teaser trailer and we haven't seen a single character at this point. And yet we're getting an entire story told before us, wordless, much like the intro of Up or the first half of WALL-E. Of course, this trailer is already better than anything Pixar's ever released. This next shot broke my heart, and forgive me if I get a little choked up, but this is our first shot of seeing actual towers crumble at Bowser's Fury, which is a great game. It's very hard to tell, and I've watched this hundreds of times, but people might be dying here in this shot. We don't know. We don't know if these pillars have been abandoned or if there are inhabitants within. I sure hope it's the former and not the latter. Now here we go. This is the money shot right here. And in order to truly appreciate the beauty of this frame, we have to go deeper. Please appreciate the size comparison here. We're finally given a sense of perspective we haven't been given yet in this teaser trailer. We're seeing that Bowser's airship is not only large, it's several times larger than the entirety of this icy kingdom. And if we enhance a little bit, you'll notice that there's lava flow within the airship. I don't understand the practicality of the airship also simultaneously functioning as a volcano, but I assume the movie will have full answers for us next April. In fact, the lava flow is so outrageous, it's spilling alongside the outside of the airship itself. Decimation is the name of Bowser's game. If this teaser trailer were to stop right here, I would feel very full, as if I had eaten a large, bountiful meal. But Nintendo and Illumination are nothing if not generous. The trailer keeps going. Finally, we see Bowser's soldiers. Koopa Troopas, I believe, is the nomenclature. They obey their general with military discipline. Now we have this magical plume of smoke and magic in the center of the frame. And this is of course revealed to be Kamek, a loving touch to the first ever Mario game, Mario 64. Please take note of the giant Bowser face in the background. Imposing, ominous, ever-present, and ever-intimidating. A true threat if ever there was one. Now how Mario will overcome this, I can only guess. I've already bought 10 movie theater tickets, because I just can't wait. And this is really interesting. Even the great and powerful magical Kamek makes room for Bowser, really painting a picture of just the power. Now this is where the trailer really becomes legendary. We're given our first actual glimpse of Bowser, and it does not disappoint. Doused in and surrounded by flames, the King of the Koopas has never looked better. In this shot we see his massive thunderous legs, thick with muscle and power. And in this shot, we get a beautiful view of Bowser's tail, rendered in 4K with ray tracing and at 120 frames a second. My sources are claiming that we're gonna get a really cool origin story for Bowser's tail in this movie, so hold on to your popcorn. Panning up, we see Bowser's spiky shell, and I sure wouldn't want to get caught on the wrong end of that. And the precision of this framing here is truly Kubrick-esque. I believe if Stanley Kubrick were still with us today, he would be weeping at the majesty and symmetry of not just this shot, but many others in this trailer. I believe he would be standing, cheering, and clapping, saying, This is what I was aspiring towards my entire career. What a fool I am." And I don't believe it's any small coincidence that Kubrick sounds so similar to Koopa. Another beautiful shot, this truly gorgeous overhead shot. I don't know what drones they used to capture this, but it works, it's effective. Not even Wes Anderson could capture this precision. Now this next shot might not look like much to you, but this is what the frame-by-frame analysis is for, so let's go deeper. This Koopa stands out because this Koopa has an eye patch and methinks some additional shoulder armor that the other soldiers don't have. Might this be Bowser's most loyal servant? Is there a hierarchy amongst the soldiers here? Because look how cowardly and lowly the one on the left looks in comparison to the badass looking, pardon my French, eye patch guy. Folks, there's lore here in the Mario world. Deep lore. So if you haven't gotten your tickets yet, I don't know what's gonna convince you to get them. Here is a much better lit shot of Bowser. The furrowed brow means he means business. We can see the scales on his beautiful skin, his fiery red hair, waving with majesty, and he says his first lines here, "Open the gates." He says it with authority. He says it expectantly, and he says it with an ounce of entitlement, but also with an air of someone that's said this many hundreds of times before. Bowser is a conqueror, a true Thanos of this universe. When the gates are open, we're presented with a scale that rivals the Lord of the Rings trilogy. We don't know what lies behind these walls, but our imagination fills the gaps, which is what makes the next few frames all the better. The camera pans way down and does a cartoonish zoom in. Oh, viewers, if only you could have seen how hard I laughed at this reveal. What a wonderful gag. A Joker's delight. Now I love this frame so much because there's a lot going on here. So allow me to do a deeper dive to explain why I love it. This kingdom has a king. It has loyal subjects and soldiers. What's the history of this penguin kingdom? Are these the same penguins that came from the very first Mario game ever, Mario 64? I think so. My silly brain never stopped to imagine that there could be a whole kingdom based on these penguins. And look how fierce and angry they look, even in the background. These penguins mean business. They have defended their castle many a time, and this is no exception. They will do what it takes to stand up to bullies. In this next frame, one of the soldier penguins digs their heels into the snow as if to make a stand, bracing for impact. And look at the details on the heel. Look at the fur texturing. I predict that Pixar stock is about to plummet because even the snowy ground is glistening. And to think that this is merely the teaser trailer, imagine how hard I'm gonna cry and scream when the full trailer arrives. I don't like this frame. And with a wave of his fin, the king penguin screams attack, and his loyal subjects don't even bother to hesitate. And all the penguins release a battle cry, not dissimilar to the Aztec death whistle. This next frame might be my favorite frame of the entire trailer. It gave me goose pimples, goosebumps, and goose mountains. The framing is impeccable as his loyal subjects face Bowser's horde and rush in with reckless abandon. A smile slowly creeps on the king's beak. This is a battle king. He knows the harsh mistress that is war, but he is not yet jaded by battle. Again, just the lore. The lore in this shot alone makes grown men weep. Illumination, if I may say so, never misses. If there's one movie that can topple Avatar's box office gross, it's Super Mario Bros., the Mario movie. This shot sucks. In this next frame, you can see how quickly and swiftly the soldiers craft snowballs. They have done this thousands of times before. This is how they have defended their kingdom from invaders for millennia. And look at the facial details here, the determination on this penguin's face. The glares in the pupils and on the teeth. Just wonderful work here. But of course, the resulting punchline is one of the greatest jokes in cinematic history. Viewers, if I told you how hard I laughed at this, you probably wouldn't believe me. Cute. What a lovely treat Illumination and Nintendo has given us this day. I do declare October 6th an international holiday. You don't have to work today. Bowser stands there amused, aroused at the might of the penguins. Please note the air quotes. And viewers, I hope you noticed the Aurora Borealis in the background of this wondrously comic scene. Another name for Aurora Borealis is the Northern Lights, and I truly think this movie will light up the box office. And as if one gag wasn't enough, we're gifted yet another gag with the snowball catapult, or trebuchet, as it lumbers into frame and with all the force of a Kleenex tissue, hits some of the soldiers. The other soldiers, of course, are resilient. They're not fazed by this. This is all they do. All they know is war and conquering. There's a reason their battle flags have Bowser's skull on them. They yield to no man or penguin. In this next shot here, we see a wonderful bokeh effect here. Your eyeballs are immediately drawn to the frame's center, the king penguin. But even with this blurring effect, you can still note the anger and wrath of the soldier penguins. And just note the majesty of the kingdom behind everyone. Still standing tall, it has yet to be conquered. Honestly, we're only halfway into this incredible trailer, and yet we're given more story than all 14 Game of Thrones books. And here's a glorious close-up of the Penguin King. We see some detail in the crown, more lore, more history. How long has this ruler ruled? Is there a queen penguin? There's frost on his fur cape. Just wonderful attention to detail here. And in case you have any doubt of the wrath of the penguins, you'll notice that they're already geared up for a second round of snowball barrage. Just a beautiful touch here. No stone left unturned, every frame a painting. Also note how thick Bowser's thighs are. Illumination has heard our prayers and calls for a more muscular, thicker Bowser. And then here we see something very rare. Bowser laughing. And not a typical video game Bowser laugh. An actual chuckle brought to life by the wondrous Jack Black. There's more life in his eyes than any Mario video game I've ever played. He revels at his own advantage here. Mayhaps he even admires the tenacity of the penguins. We don't know. We're only given just this tasty morsel. And Bowser's army is so impressive that Bowser himself doesn't even have to flex a muscle. He merely lets Kamek do all the work for him. This confirms that yes, there will be magic in the Super Mario Brothers movie. Whether it's dark magic or wizard magic, I can't really say yet. Maybe it's elder magic. We don't know yet. We can only speculate at this point, and we're not going to find out until April. And like toilet paper caught in a tornado, these mighty penguin soldiers are cast aside with the greatest of ease. And while we don't get to see it, we can only assume that they each get impaled and stabbed to death by the Koopa soldiers, what with their sharpened lances. I doubt we'll see it on screen when the movie comes out, but it's implied. Finally, we get to see Bowser's first attack, his classic flame breath. And while we've seen this dozens of times throughout the decades of Mario games, never before have we seen it so cinematically presented. He makes quick work of the icy fortress in multiple shots and angles. But take a look at this frame, viewers. Look at this wide shot here. You may have been falsely led to believe that Bowser was very close to the castle, but oh no, he's far away. If Bowser can wield this kind of firepower at such great distances, we have to ask, what chance does Mario have? And with that, the Icy Kingdom is sadly and simply no more. Even Bowser's own forces are overwhelmed by his catastrophic power. Now this next shot is crucial. This confirms that stars are canon, stars are part of the lore. What purposes they have, we're not sure. Although maybe it's just one singular star, as Bowser here says, I finally found it. Are we to believe there's only one power star in the whole Mario universe? We don't know. And what does it do? Does it power his ship? Does it grant Bowser even more power? Although I can hardly imagine an even more powerful Bowser. Now when Bowser says, who's gonna stop me? You'll notice there's a giant gap between his front teeth. What do we call that? That's right, we call it a diastema. And this quote, of course, transitions beautifully to the shot we've all been waiting for. Now you've probably missed it, but that music you hear is a fun little Easter egg referencing the first ever Mario game, Mario 64. Here's a very confusing shot. This is our very first glimpse at Mario, and his proportions look very wrong, very off, very stretched out. Could this be a lens warping effect? Could this be a warping effect from teleportation and wormholes? What is he coming out of? Is that a pipe? I'm not sure. It looks rather blue. And we do have confirmation that was a green pipe he was shot out of. Very interesting. I'm curious to see how transportation works in this universe. But already we can see the detail on his denim overalls, the craftsmanship of his worker's boots. This Mario is an everyman. Here's another beautiful drone shot. They really spared no expense with this teaser. And here is our first glimpse of Mario's face. Ladies and gentlemen, the leaks were true. And thankfully, we sure don't have another Sonic situation on our hands. Nintendo, Illumination, take a bow. You've surpassed all of my expectations. And you even gave him 10 fingers. 10-fingered Mario confirmed. His face is a little wider than what we've come to expect. Almost a touch more squished. Perhaps a reference to the squishable face of Mario in the opening of Mario 64. I might be reaching. We have a great shot of his ass here. And while it could be a touch dumpier, I'll hold my breath until the final film is out. It's not too late for the animators to really make it plump and juicy. Animators, you have from now until April to correct this oversight. Mario jumps a lot, Mario's gonna fall a lot. And if he's gonna fall a lot, he's gonna need something thick to land on, okay? As Mario takes in his surroundings, you'll note the multiple floating islands in the background with waterfalls, not dissimilar from the floating islands of Pandora from the Avatar world. A loving nod to the true box office king. Here's drone shot number 3. And we finally get to hear Chris Pratt's voice as Mario as he says, "What is this place?" Folks, I am convinced that Chris Pratt was born to play Mario. As he stated in the Nintendo presentation today, he's been stomping Goombas since he was a little boy.
Growing up,
oh my God, it's Mario.
Hours of my life stomping Koopas.
Wow, this sounds really genuine.
He's truly given Mario's voice the reverence and respect it so deserves. And here's our first glimpse of Toad, who I don't think has ever shown anger before. So it's a bit jarring for us longtime viewers and fans and players. But this just goes to show the Herculean efforts the animators have put in. Even with Toad's shark-like beady eyes, they have conveyed on his face a sense of pure anger, with a twinge of disgust even. So once again, I tip my hat to the hard-working illustrators at Illumination. Another really cool touch is that Toad's diaper looks completely filled. Just how I remembered it in the games. We see the shock and surprise in Mario's beautiful, sparkling eyes that frankly I can drown in. In this shot, we reveal that Toad's a little bit of a stinker and a jokester. So amidst all of the death and destruction that we've thus far seen in this trailer, it's nice to have a chuckle hither and thither. But parents, I still would not take your kids to see this film. It looks very violent and dark. This is for people aged 21 and up. This frame sucks. Now in this frame, it's easy to get overwhelmed at all the details and hidden Easter eggs in here. So let us pause and take yet another deep dive. Wait, shit. If you zoom in over here on this side, you'll notice there's a Pizza Planet truck. And this is a cool little Easter egg referencing the first ever Mario game, Mario 64. In the distance, we see Princess Peach's castle, looking precisely like it does from the Mario games. Sadly though, we have 0 lines of dialogue here from the princess herself in this trailer. I was really hoping to hear a cool girl boss comment from her. We didn't get that today, gamers. But we shouldn't be greedy. We've already received so much, and this trailer isn't done yet.
Mushroom Kingdom, here we come!
When Chris Pratt says, "Mushroom Kingdom, here we come," it's hard not to feel like a little boy again, because in all of my years imagining Mario talk, well, even though there is a Mario voice actor, I've always imagined him to sound precisely like the Pratt. Wonderful cinematic score here as we reveal the title, The Super Mario Bros. Movie, the movie. If this doesn't make the hairs on the end of your neck stand up, you're dead inside and/or stone. And here we're given a cornucopia of star power. I'm a twinge saddened that we did not get to hear Seth Rogen's Donkey Kong yet. I've already made my prediction for one of his lines of dialogue in the movie. But gamers, get a load of this. We clearly hear Charlie Day as Luigi running away from a team of skeleton Koopas, their eyes glowing red with bloodlust. This confirms that demons, ghosts, and the paranormal are real in this universe. And in this shot, we see Luigi is running towards some kind of castle. Now this castle looks more in place with the Dark Souls lore than it does in the Mario lore. Forgive me. It's not Princess Peach's castle, so where is he running towards? And it's a very treacherous castle at that, as we see him skip across rocks in a pool of molten lava. And within inches of his life, he finally makes it inside this mystery castle. Mayhaps it's Luigi's Mansion 3? But alas, it is a question for another day, as we are reminded that we have to be patient and good. Gamers, if this analysis hasn't revved your engines and given you the excitement of your lives, place your hand over your heart to check to see if it's beating, because you might be dead. If I missed any cool Easter eggs, please let me know in the comments below. Tell me if I missed any cool hidden Mickeys in this trailer. Now I'm gonna go watch the trailer a few hundred more times. Okay, I love you, bye.